Max Verstappen wins in Miami. This review's coming a day later, but you know what? Did the race really deserve a review straight after it? Probably not. It wasn't as bad as Baku, right? And you know what? It was like your average F1 race, maybe a wee bit below average. I feel like 2021 set the bar very high. And actually, 2020, despite the fact Mercedes had by far the fastest car, there was a lot of great races in that year, just due to the fact I think it was the COVID year. You were going to all different tracks and all that stuff, and I thought it was all very good. Same Mugello, the return of like Turkey, etc. I mean, Turkish race was ballistic. Last year though wasn't really that good. This year, I mean, we've had five races, and we're being honest. I mean, it would probably the order of the races would probably go Australia, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, this, then Baku. I mean, Australia was all right, but I mean, it was benefited massively by massive crashes. But yeah, like realistically, we knew this was going to end in a Red Bull win. I know there was talk of rain, and rain. Would rain have made this better? Absolutely. I think it would have made it better because it would have halted Verstappen's progress, and I think Perez probably would have won. But then again, Verstappen's that good in the wet, he probably could have won anyway. But without the big advantage of the Red Bull DRS, I feel like he could have been held up a bit. But as for the race itself, there was not one yellow flag, not one VSC, not one safety car. It was absolutely flawless race for everybody. Now into turn one, I believe Nick De Vries punted Lando Norris, which just sums up Nick De Vries. The guy's just not that good. McLaren, though, I mean, McLaren looked absolutely awful. And know how you can tell, right? What a car's pace is about. If you look at the fastest laps, the McLarens are the only drivers in the 132s, apart from one other driver, and that's Logan Sargent. So that's nothing to be proud of. That's how you know a car's pace just ain't that good. But I mean, there wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like this race was completely devoid of action. You had Verstappen, Leclerc, and Magnussen having a good battle. Actually, Magnussen and Leclerc had a good battle for most of this race. But Leclerc shouldn't be down there. I don't know what happened to Leclerc. It's almost like the car was carrying an issue. But I think we just seen today, or yesterday, that the Ferrari, yes, it's good over one lap, but over a race, man, it is by far like it is the fourth quickest team, and I think Alpine, as good as they were in this race, like eighth and ninth, I feel like there was a I think there was a lot more on the table for Alpine. Gasly, kinda, when he let Max through, he just let George Russell through easily, which I thought was, I mean, it was just stupid. If he actually let Max through that easy, it set Russell up for the next corner, and then Ocon's against Hamilton. And what the Alpine do? They let Hamilton pit, get an undercut, and then he undercuts Ocon. When we saw that the Alpine was actually pretty hard to overtake, especially right, Ocon would have been coming out on fresh mediums up against Hamilton on fresh mediums, and there wasn't that much of a pace difference between those two because Ocon had him behind him the entire first stint on the hards. But Gasly lost out to Leclerc and Hamilton as well. Sainz managed to get fifth for Ferrari despite his 5 second time penalty, which I thought was it harsh? No, because it was, I mean, it's speeding in the pit lane. That's more or less a slam dunk. Opinions or whatever, but he was racing Alonso, and Aston Martin basically that determined their strategy for them. As soon as Sainz gets a penalty, it's like, well, it doesn't really matter if he's overcut us because we can just commit behind him, stay within 5 seconds. But yeah, I mean, it's actually mad to think Alonso finished 16 seconds ahead of Carlos Sainz, and he finished 8 seconds ahead of Russell. The Aston Martin was definitely really good in race pace this weekend. I think in terms of quality pace, it was third fastest behind Ferrari. But yeah, like I said, second fastest in race pace, and we've got Lance Stroll doing in P12, a guy that's just not that good. And yes, I do think there was an element of Aston Martin just kept him out unnecessarily long. But you look at Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda started 17th in a car that's horrendous on the exact same strategy and beat Lance Stroll because who just fit start at a place below him. What's Stroll's excuse for not beating Yuki Tsunoda? Oh, it's hard to overtake. No, I'm not fucking buying that. See this whole thing, it was hard to overtake. People were overtaking each other. Like, yes, there was a DRS train for periods, but we saw people break the DRS train and overtake. So Lance Stroll, man, you try to tell me if Alonso started 18th, Alonso wouldn't have done damage in that race. If Alonso started 18th, he would have finished above Hamilton. I think just due to the sheer pace of the Aston Martin, like he finished like what 26 seconds clear of Hamilton. And let's be real, Alonso wouldn't have been pushing him now for most of that. If he was actually having to overtake and push, he'd have fucking smoked. He could easily get points, but Lance Stroll just showing why he's not good enough. And people who say, oh, well, if they kept Vettel and Alonso, Vettel's fucking shite, right? Lance Stroll was battering Vettel for most of the 2 years at Aston Martin, or at least there wasn't much of a gap. Now, I'll admit Vettel did pull out some good one stops, but so did Stroll. So let's not pretend that Lance Stroll was so far off the level of Vettel, because he's fucking far off the level of Alonso, and there's no mistake about it. Who else? Bottas having an alright race, 13th. That sums Bottas up with 13th as a good race, because the last couple have been awful, man. Logan Sargent, Williams, 20th. Damage on lap 1. Qualified 20th, finished 20th in his home Grand Prix. Abysmal. You've got Albon, 11th qualified, finished 14th. Magnussen, I thought there's probably more in the Haas. Like, yeah, I mean, it's slower than all the cars that finished above it, but it's weird because he was battling with like all these like top teams, and then by the end of it, he was just nowhere near them. So that was kind of funny, but that's it, guys, for your Miami Grand Prix. Of course, we did have Max flying through the field, and we can talk about, oh, Perez should have won, and I think Perez really should have won if he's going to have any chance of this title, but it didn't matter if Max started on the mediums, if Perez started on the hards. I think Max would have won this race anyway. Like, and yeah, at least Perez put up a bit of a fight, but realistically, he had no chance. No chance, man. No chance whatsoever. I mean, he's on like 20, he's like on like 25, maybe not 25, he's on like 20 laps older tyres on a slower compound. I mean, even if Perez came out a second behind him on those mediums, you'd have liked to think Perez would have got past Verstappen, so yeah. Anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. That is it for Miami. 2-week break till Imola. The standings are as follows. We have got Max Verstappen 119 points, Perez on 14 behind, which isn't exactly, massive. Alonso is 44 points behind Verstappen, that is massive. Like, that's the problem. It's not even like Red Bull are fast but unreliable. Like, yes, they have had a wee couple of issues, but realistically, for anyone else to be in this title fight other than the two Red Bulls, I don't know what it's going to take, man. Honestly, I don't. But yeah, it's not good. Hamilton is on 56. You've got Sainz on 44, Russell on 40, Leclerc on 34. Like, I mean, people can talk about how bad Sainz's season has been. He's still above his teammate. And then there's Lance Stroll on 27 points, really shafting Aston Martin, who are only 6 points clear of Mercedes, when in reality it should be a lot more. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. That's going to do it for Miami. Till Imola, which in 2 weeks' time, it'll be a good wee race. I like the Imola track, but I just feel with that massive straight that they've now got at Imola, no one's really got a chance. Now, Alonso did say in the post-race that he feels they've got like an outside chance of winning at Barca and Monaco, just due to the fact that there's not really got any straights. I know Barcelona does; it's got the main straight. But yeah, I feel like if a team's going to win this season, it's going to have to be on a track like Singapore, Monaco, Sandford. But then I can just see the Red Bull being a beast at Sandford. I don't know, but yeah, Aston Martin, I think, do have a chance at Monaco. And because, if we have a situation where Alonso starts on the front row, like at this race, Max starts ninth, if Max ain't making his way through that field at Monaco, well, I'll tell you what, if there is a guy to do it in that car, it probably would be him, but Monaco's Monaco, folks. But anyway, tell your thoughts down below, and until next time, peace.